Alright, hey everyone, RogueGold here, and welcome back to another State of the Game recap. This is for State of the Game number 169 on September 2nd, 2020. Today is the big stream, guys. We got our first look at Skyscraper, which is actually a code name for another name. We'll get to that soon. We saw all the new exotics, the new gear set, the new brand, the new weapons that are coming alongside Season 3. So we have a lot of things to get to, and so let's just dive right into it. Today, Hamish was joined by Bruce and Mackenzie to discuss all of those things I just mentioned, and so let's go. They started with priority alerts. Yesterday there was a maintenance which fixed issues like the sniper turret. I guess it was having some technical issues, so that's been resolved. Heroic title basin checkpoint on specifically the manhunt mission. I know because I played it on Heroic and there was no checkpoint at the end. That screwed me over more than once, so that has been fixed. And they added Season 2 level skips to the store if you have not reached rank 100 yet and you want to. There's about 2 weeks left on the season, so get on that if you're trying to finish that out before it closes out. They provided a recap of the TU11 roadmap, just a slide showing all the different things, so I'll put that up now. There are going to be a lot of different graphics and slides that I will be putting on screen throughout the duration of this recap. I will try not to repeat myself every time that those are up there, but just keep your eyes on the screen if you want more clarity or detail, because I will be showing all the exotics and all that kind of stuff on there, so keep your eyes on the screen. PTS is coming this Friday, September 4th for TU11. It has all the new content, the new game mode, all the Season 3 gear that we're going to discuss, as well as the skill reward for the final Season 3 Manhunt target. Alright, try not to rush, but we do, like I said, have a ton to get to, so let's get right into the developer interview. The Summit is the new PvE game mode. Skyscraper was just an internal code name. Its real name is the Summit, and it is a skyscraper that has 100 floors that you have to climb to, and so the very top of that is called the Summit, and so that is the objective of the mode. It is free to all Warlords of New York owners. A ton of people were saying, oh, it's going to be paid, it's going to be blah, blah, blah. It's free to anyone who owns Warlords, which at this point, if you're still playing this game, you probably own Warlords, so it's free to pretty much everyone. All factions are included, all the way up to floor 100. You can fight any of the 6 factions. It's all kind of randomized. We'll get into that in just a second, but they wanted to mention that off the bat. Like I said, the goal is to reach floor 100. You have to start at 0 the first time you do it, but after that, you can start at any rally floor. So we're going to take a look at how this works. Basically, every 10 floors, there is a rally floor, right? And the difficulty switches up the higher you go. So it starts from 0 to 10 is normal difficulty, then I believe 20 to 30 is hard, and then 30 to either 50 or 60 is challenging. Then that, whatever that is, to 80 is heroic, and then 80 to 100 is legendary difficulty. So the first time you go through, you will have to start at 0 and go all the way up to 100, but once you clear the whole thing, and even after a Tuesday reset, anytime after you've beat it the first time, you can come back and go to any rally floor that you've unlocked to start there. So you can start right out at legendary difficulty with the White Tusk all the way up those 20 floors. You can do that over and over and just keep going to that same floor. As far as checkpoints go, they said that you can have checkpoints every 3 floors, because I guess you won't be going in an elevator up to the next floor until every 3rd floor. So you will have a checkpoint even on Legendary every 3 floors, but if you wipe on that 3rd floor, say you're on, 83, you'll go back down to 80. Alright, so that's how the checkpoints are going to work, but if you leave the zone and you come back, you can start at any of those rally floors anytime you want. As far as how it's randomized, there are dozens of predefined floor layouts, so it's not like the floor is going to randomly generate on its own every time you go through. There are dozens of different options, and every time you advance a floor, the game will just choose out of the whole collective of floors to put one in, and it'll choose the enemy type as well, the different faction. And they said also if you enable directives, it will put on random directives, I think every floor, or maybe every 3 floors. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but there is a lot of randomness involved to keep it fresh, to keep it replayable, so you can come back and do this mode over and over. And I will say that they showed, 8 minutes or so of gameplay from the Summit of them going through the floor, so that'll just be running in the background this entire time while I'm discussing all of this. All levels of difficulty included in the floors. Like I said, it's regardless of global difficulty, it's preset for what floors are what level of content. So if you want to do challenging, you're going to come in and start at floor 50 every time you want to go in there. You start, and then you go up through either 60 or 70. I'm not sure how high it goes. But for those people that want that top tier of legendary content, you're just going to go into 80 every time and climb those 20 floors, which is I think it's a good solution to give everyone a chance to do it. They could have done a global difficulty thing, so you go up like all 100 floors legendary. It might have been a little taxing. I see why they wouldn't want to necessarily do that, but this way everyone gets what they want, and it's a mode that really can entice and please everyone. So I think that's definitely a good thing. Some other details, they said you can matchmake for any difficulty. So you'll matchmake by, say if you want to matchmake for challenging, you're just going to matchmake for floor 50 if that makes sense, and then you'll be paired with people who are on that same difficulty level. It does scale, of course. You can go in solo or with a 4-man group. Targeted loot is singular per day for the entire mode. So they want to test this on the PTS. They were considering doing different targets for different levels of difficulty, but as it is currently, the whole mode will just have a singular target for the day. So it'll be targeted ARs in the entire mode, or SMGs, or you get the idea. They, like I said, that they are up for testing that on the PTS, so we'll see how that stands. Someone asked about rogue agents and hunters. They said rogue agent encounters can occur within the mode on different floors, I'm assuming. And then when it came to hunters, Mackenzie said, I'm not going to say anything, and Bruce was kind of giving some smirk, so we'll see. I think there could be maybe a surprise at floor 100. They really didn't discuss that at all because it is its own like node on the difficulty selection screen, which I think is interesting. It implies it's not just going to be legendary again. So I think we could see some pretty cool stuff on the roof of the building there. We'll have to see about hunters and that in the PTS and all of that. And I just wanted to mention personally, from looking at the gameplay, you can see that the environments in there go from office layouts to like floors that are under construction. So there's definitely some variety and yeah, just replayability in the mode that we've desperately been needing for quite a long time. So this is all really exciting. Moving on to the new gear. The shrapnel trap will be the reward for the Season 3 Manhunt. I know a lot of people are going to be bummed about that, but Bruce was kind of hyping it up a bit. He said he worked on it a lot personally, and it has some dual functions, which I think the repair trap honestly kind of needed, but the shrapnel trap can be used as a defensive area denial if you just kind of throw it up and let it deploy out like the shock trap, but it can also be quick deployed to work almost like a bouncing Betty, he said. If you just use it, it'll kind of shoot straight up and then spread out in a close proximity, so that there's an enemy right on you, it'll attach to them and work almost like a sticky bomb. So that sounds really cool. It's going to be on the PTS, so we're going to be able to see how it works there, and I'm excited to see what some people can come up with that. Alright, the Season 3 gear set is Hunter's Fury, the spiritual successor or cousin, I guess, to Hunter's Faith from Division 1. Unlike Hunter's Faith, how that was long range and snipers, Hunter's Fury is a close range set. It's very up close and personal, and you get a lot of damage bonus for it. I think it's going to be a little OP. I think a lot of this stuff, including the exotics, might get nerfed on the PTS. We're just going to have to see, but it looks really cool. You can read the descriptions there, pause it if you want to go through the whole thing. Basically, it's all about SMGs, shotguns, up-close damage, all that kind of stuff, which has kind of been the bane of PvP, but we'll see how that goes. For the new weapons, these are the high-end ones. These are not exotics. These are just the high-end ones coming with Season 3. We have the, I don't know how you say it, but the Karr45 Pistol, which I guess is a callback to Ghost Recon, one of the past iterations of those, and Bruce said that the named version of this pistol will grant one skill tier when it's currently, equipped, when you're holding it. So that's pretty cool. I think there's going to be some cool options with that and how you play around that, so that'll be pretty cool to discover. And then the shotgun, there's a high-end shotgun coming called the 612, and its named version is going to grant extra armor on kill, so that's pretty cool. The new exotics, we have 3 of them. The Backfire SMG is the first one, and this comes from the Season 3 reward track. This thing looks really cool. It's an exotic MPX. It is a very risk-reward gun, as you gain up to 200% crit damage from its bonus, but you also apply a pretty nasty bleed to yourself the higher up you get that crit damage going. Now, this bleed can be mitigated by hazard protection and bleed protection, as Bruce mentioned, but it has, it has that risk-reward element. I think it's pretty cool. I am, worried about its prowess in PvP, kind of like the Lady Death. We're just going to have to see on the PTS. I'm thankful at least that we have a PTS to test all these things out on, right? That's how we're going to know if it's too OP from the get-go. I'm pretty excited for it, though. It looks like a pretty nasty gun. And then next up, we have 2 gear items to cover. The first is the Memento Backpack. And I kind of called it. If you watched my speculation video a few days back, I said that we might be seeing an exotic that kind of is hybrid-focused. You get a skill tier, or not a skill tier, a core attribute of each type on one piece. And that's what this does. You get all three core attributes on the base item. So you have weapon damage, armor, and a skill tier. But because of that, you get no secondary attributes. But then it has this really lengthy talent that, again, you can pause it if you want to read what it does. Basically, when you kill an enemy, you get a trophy that drops on the ground. So you have to run up and collect that trophy. What that does then is within 10 seconds of collecting that trophy, you get a boost to weapon damage, bonus armor, and skill efficiency, which is a new stat. We'll get to that in a sec. You get a bonus to that for 10 seconds, and that kind of scales up and down for each individual attribute depending on your core attribute investment, right? And then you get a longer buff for 5 minutes that gives you a lot of stuff like weapon damage, armor regen, and I think more skill efficiency. And so that is scaled even further based off of that stuff. It's kind of complicated. You can read the whole thing, and obviously it'll be a lot easier to understand on the PTS. To mention, though, to go back, skill efficiency is basically the skill equivalent of weapon handling. So you get stuff like skill health, skill haste, skill damage, status effects, repair skills, all in one go. So that's really cool. I think it's going to be a really nice exotic. I'm probably the most excited for this one because I have always wanted a hybrid exotic like this. And yeah, I'm just really excited to try it out. So that one is very cool. And then the last exotic for this update is Ridgeways Pride, and this is the Summit exclusive exotic. So they said basically there might be some more steps to it, but basically once you get to floor 100, you will unlock a quest, and then when you complete that quest, you will obtain this exotic. It's kind of like Predmark 2.0 in one go, which is, questionable, but it seems pretty cool. Basically, when you're within 10 meters of an enemy, when you shoot them, you apply a bleed. And then based off of how many enemies you are bleeding within 10 meters of you, you get up to 25% armor regen per second. So, seems pretty OP, but to get that full 25%, you would have to bleed 5 enemies within 10 meters of you and keep them alive. So it's pretty cool. It's not as bad as Pred because you're not scaling up the damage of the bleed, really. This is going to pair really well with stuff like the new Hunter's Fury set with ongoing directive. I think you're going to see a lot of cool synergies with this, and so I'm interested to see how it fits into the meta. And Bruce kind of, came in to remind everyone that while these seem very OP for PvP, they are doubling the effectiveness of resistance mods, so you'll have options for countering a lot of this stuff. I still think some of it's going to get nerfed down on the PTS. We're just going to have to see, but he did want to remind us of that. And then they showed off the new brand that's coming with Season 3, Bellstone Armory. The 1-piece is armor regen, 2-piece 10% armor on kill, and 3-piece 20% incoming repair. And the 2 new named gear items that will come with are Perfect Efficient and Perfect Bloodsucker, so that is pretty neat. Bruce then went on to mention some PvP specific stuff that he said will be tested primarily on Phase 2 of the PTS. The highlights there are the Riot Foam base duration is going down from 3 to 2 seconds. I don't really think this is going to do much, honestly, because the base duration isn't the issue in my opinion. The issue is that you can stick someone from 5 meters away and then you get pretty much a guaranteed kill because you're standing still for at least half a second while you hold X to break out of it, and they can hit you right in the head. I don't know if this is going to do much, but we will just have to test it out and see. The Firewall Burn on Armor Break, whatever that little talent is called, is being disabled in PvP. I am very thankful for this. Firewall has been dominating for a long time in PvP, and I think that this attraction of this talent, which is just annoying in the first place. I mean, why would you even want... It's just, yeah. Anyway, that's being disabled, and I'm very glad for it. The pistol, rifle, and marksman rifle changes that happened back in a 10.1 server patch are being revisited. Bruce said that it reached their goals of making it so you couldn't have a one-shot body shot build, but in the process it nerfed them a bit too much for general usage, and so they're going to revisit that and probably buff some of those back up, so just stay tuned for that on the PTS. And he mentioned also that shields are going to be taking more damage in PvP, which I'm thankful for. Pretty much the half shield is kind of what 80% of the people use in PvP anyway, so if we can move away from that a little bit, I think that is beneficial for the overall health of PvP. And then some extra few things at the end here. Rainbow loot adjustments from last week's State of the Game that they showed off will no longer be the 100% attribute matching that they showed. So if you were watching that, basically they said that if you have a brand that comes with a weapon damage core attribute, then the first attribute would match that core and be a red bonus to kind of eliminate the rainbow loot stuff that's been going on. A lot of people were pointing out that that was going to eliminate a lot of builds because you wouldn't no longer be able to get, like, for example, a golden piece with 3 yellows, right? They said that that's not going to be the case anymore. It'll probably be a value, I'm just speculating here, maybe 75 or 80%, and then you still will have that chance to get other things for all those types of hybrid builds, so that's definitely good. They mentioned that Ensnare and Confused Resist mods will be added to the game in TU11, and then again, all resistance mods will be doubled in effectiveness, so that's something to look forward to, along with the agnostic mods, so you can put those on any build now. That's definitely very nice. And then lastly, Hamish just mentioned that Season 2 is ongoing the last few weeks here, and the Titan League has just begun. Okay, I think that's about it. I hope I didn't go too fast, guys, but I did want to kind of get through all of that because we had so much to go through. Hopefully that all made sense. I'm very excited for the new game mode, the Summit. It looks really cool. I like that you can go to any difficulty whenever you like, and you don't have to, work your way up to a higher difficulty. You can just start right out at Legendary if that's what you want to do. I'm very excited to see what awaits us on floor 100 on the roof, I'm assuming. It is all going to be on the PTS, all 100 floors, so I guess we'll know on Friday what awaits us up there and a lot of the other stuff. The new gear all looks really cool in my opinion. I definitely think some of it isn't going to survive the PTS in its current form, but I really like the emphasis on up-close gameplay, close and personal. Although there's still no burst heals in PvP, I think this is all going to come out in, it's going to be cool. Definitely for PvE, like Hunter's Fury is going to be really fun to play with. I still think that in PvP, some of this stuff is just going to replace the current meta that we're in. But yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see on that. And hopefully whoever is playing the PTS on PC can really help us get in a good spot before launch. So if you guys listening to this are going to play the PTS, then definitely go in there, give Bruce and everyone else your feedback, and just, yeah, make sure they hear us so that we can get the most balanced and fun patch possible when it does release. That's going to do it for this State of the Game recap, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you do, feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you're new with post notifications on so you can be updated every time I upload. Head down to the comments and let me know all of your thoughts on everything we saw today. There's a whole lot, so you take your choice and let me know what you think about it. I want to know what everyone is thinking about the new mode, the new gear, everything. So go ahead and let me know down there. And yeah, that's going to do it, everyone. Until the next one, guys, RogueGold, out.